Hi there, my name is Steve Beck and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. This is a review of Big Finish's relatively latest release. Well, one of their latest release, the Paul McGann Time War Range Volume 4. It's a pretty good one. And we're going to be talking about the Rage in general and really what they're doing with the Time War in general, as well as reviewing this. It's a good release. It's a good release. It doesn't... It doesn't fall into the I would say the sinkhole that many of the other releases in this series have fallen into. But before we get into the review, can I ask you guys, can you hit that like button? Can you hit the share button? And mostly, can you hit that subscribe button? I am pathetically and genuinely grateful for each of you. Take the time to hit that button. Thank you. This is the thing we need you to do. Our teeny tiny YouTube channels, it is our lifeblood. If you can hit that subscribe button, thank you very much. I'm very grateful. If you subscribe, what may happen if you subscribe? Well, firstly, you can enter my competition. The prize this week is Doctor Who, Power of the Daleks, Patrick Troughton's first story. This is not the latest version of the animation. They reanimated it for some unknown reason. I've been going through Fury from the Deep, so I haven't got to the new animated version yet. But I will do. It's on my list. There's a lot of stuff I'm behind with. I got a bunch of Big Finish releases. I'm trying to plow through. I'm hoping. I'm halfway through the Bernie Summerfield, David Warner set that came out. Which does fall into a regular mistake that these box sets do. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. And also got the Callan box set, which I freaking love. That's one of their best ranges. I really recommend it. But I'm going to try and at least do the short trips. Her own bootstraps. Something like bootstraps. It's got Jake Dubman narrating the Ninth Doctor, which I got this one when before Chris Eccleston announced his return, because I think Jake Dubman is pretty good at I love his 10th Doctor. I love his 11th Doctor, and I tell you what, even his 12th Doctor, his Capaldi. It doesn't sound like him, but it has the essence of his performance. For me, it really, really worked. It's another set I do recommend. So anyway, subscribe to the channel. I want a bit of a test. Subscribe to the channel. You can win this Power of the Daleks. Power of the Daleks. So all you need to do is, as I said, subscribe, and in the comments leave the hashtag I am your servant. I am your servant. Also, if you have any prayer requests, which I know this is a bit of a weird one, but I've been inundated. Friday is like it's called Hoshana Rabbah in Jewish tradition, which is when the day that non-Jews get judged. You guys get your multiverse set up for the year. For each individual person has a multiverse, I believe, and that gets the parameters of that gets set for the year. If there's anything you particularly want me to pray for, I will pray for you on that day. And it's exactly my pleasure, But please, subscribers only, because I'm getting inundated. Doesn't matter if you're Jewish, doesn't matter if you're an atheist, doesn't matter if you believe in God. Listen, I would say if it doesn't go counter to your worldview, I think it's fine. It's like if you're if you think it can't hurt, then I just send it to me. I'm happy to do it. Fine. So let's talk about Doctor Who Time War Volume 4. So Big Finish have an interesting approach going to the Time War in that it's not a linear series. They have a lot of series, and they all kind of... you get the feeling the building blocks are being put together, that they're all going to come together. My guess will be for the 60th anniversary, they're going to reach some kind of culmination of their Time War releases. So they got, you have individual strands. You've got the Paul McGann Time War series. You have the John Hurt War Doctor, which unfortunately that's all you got. I'm afraid that's all you're never going to get more, because they're freaking fantastic. They are fantastic. That's actually the most standalone of the ranges. You have the War Master, and you have Susan's War. So this release kind of ends up by putting a couple of tiles in place where you can see the Eighth Doctor and the Susan's War are going to have to come together probably on the next release. We're going to talk about that in a second, how they do that. But what is this box set about? This box set is about Davros. Davros, it looms large through the entirety of this box set, which is good, because the last box set I was really annoyed with. I was really, really annoyed with, because they had the Valiard on the cover, and I thought the whole thing would be Rassilon had resurrected the Valiard who was fighting the Time War, and I just thought that'd be fantastic. And they had one episode like that. The last episode was like that, and it was very good. And Michael Jason's Valiard is freaking perfect. So that ends up with dovetailing directly into this box set where the Valiard had it's a pretty interesting story where the Valiard isn't the Valiard. The Valiard can't work out if he's a Valiard or he's a doctor. He's trying to work out who he wants to be. At the end of it, and spoilers because he spoiled it very heavily for this. At the end of it, he operates a weapon that removes the Daleks from reality, and then the Dalek strategist escapes into the multiverse to try and find other Daleks so they can restore the Daleks. So resurrect the Daleks because again they're completely gone, and people don't even remember them. So that's a pretty good cliffhanger to end on. And then the Doctor and Bliss, his companion in these sets, jump through the time, the dimensional vortex to go and to stop the time strategist. So yeah, I didn't remember the details because I was just so freaking mad at that box set. It's like, what? Well, you got Michael Jaston in one, and this is a major failing with Big Finish. The last 10th Doctor set I think had Wilf on the cover, Bernard Cribbins and whatever. What was Donna's mother's name? Sylvia. I can't remember her name. On the cover, and they were in for one episode. And the big problem with those stories is they're so throwaway. There's no meat behind it. That's why I'm really kind of into the Dalek universe, because that sounds like it's going to be a big meaty story with the 10th Doctor. So I'm like, I am psyched about that. They haven't released the writers yet, and oh boy, I'm scared because the writers they've been choosing have been a little bit diversity higher-ish. Actually a lot of diversity higher-ish, especially the Time Lord Victoria stuff. If that's good, I'll be amazed. If that's good, I hope it's good. I'm wanting it to be good. I hope it's going to be good. But if it's good, I'm going to be amazed. So yeah, they've been their monthly release last week, the Sylvester McCoy one, was the absolute worst thing they've ever produced. The absolute worst thing they've ever produced. They have a story in it called The Flying Dutchman, which is a subpar Scooby-Doo plot. And you think I'm being cruel? No. With a ton of identity, I wouldn't say politics, just identity nonsense shoved into it. So it was a weak story they used to proliferate a ideological point. And so it was just awful. It was, the author was one by the name of Gemma Arrowsmith, and it just had no business being greenlit. It was embarrassingly bad. So I felt good that this box set has tried and true writers on it. You have John Dorney, Lisa McMullen. I'm sure she's written some other stuff. Let me look her up. And Matt Fitton. In the extras for this, they say who was it? Was it Helen Goldring, who's the director of it? They talk about what a wonderfully diverse company Big Finish is, and for me, if you focus on diversity and you're not a racist, right? If you do that and you're not trying to get over some basic racism, which I think everybody at Big Finish, it falls into that category. Everybody you ever meet probably falls into that category, right? Then it's like taking medicine for something that you don't need and it's detrimental. Then it actually becomes racist. I think if non-racists focus on identity, that's how you get to racism, and it's really weird, but kind of universally true. So anyway. Davros is throughout this box set as opposed to with the Valiard. By the way, same thing with the new adventures of Bernie Summerfield set I'm listening to right now. It's very much supposed to be a Gallifrey series. She's on Gallifrey in Gallifreyan robes, got their whole headdress on the cover. I'm on to finished episode 2 or 4, and the Time Lords have just showed up. I mean, really, just don't sell it on us, and then don't do a bait and switch. I mean, even though I say the first 2 stories I've enjoyed, I think they're good, but this one delivers on all its promise, and it's actually really, really good. So starts off, was it Palindrome? Is a 2-part story by John Dorney, and it's like Crisis on Infinite Earth with Davros. It starts off what's it good? Was it Terry Malloy's Davros? He's a human Davros. He's a nice Davros. He's married to a Thal, and he's developing this reality engine. And it's a very, very wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey story that I think you can listen to either part first. It's I haven't tried it. And it's for me to really understand it, I'm going to have to do a re-listen. But it's very, very good. It's very, very good. It's basically the Davros being turned into the Davros. It's like a nice Davros being manipulated and turned into the Davros we know by the time strategist. Nicholas Briggs' time strategist knocks it out the park. Just knocks it out the park completely. And I think really develops something that's genuinely Dalek and genuinely different at the same time. It's a very cunning, I would say, even a little bit charming Dalek. It's a kind of lyrical Dalek. You can see it's like going beyond its its boundaries. And I think somebody like Nicholas Briggs can really pull that off, can really understand it, because he really understands the Daleks, right? And it's just a fantastic performance, an absolutely fantastic performance. I would say it's probably one of his best. Somebody else who's good in it is was it Raki? What's her name? She's freaking everything. Raki Thacker, who plays Bliss, Paul McGann's Doctor's companion in this, and she's excellent. She's excellent in everything she is, which is the problem, because she's in a hell of a lot. I've just finished listening to catching up on the Star Cops sets that I was behind on. So that's going to be, I'm going to do a review of all of the 4 Star Cops releases, and she's in there. And she's in a lot of stuff, and she's very good. Like, for me, she has a very similar vibe of Sarah Jane Smith. It's a very naturalistic performance, and it really works. She's very, very good. It's just I hear a lot of her, and it seems to me that, like, you go, oh, she's kinda ethnic, and she's good. I think we want to hire her for everything. See, again, that's the problem I have with, like, when non-races focus on diverse, when people who are naturally diverse and inclusive make diversity and inclusion a really important thing. This is basically what happens. This is basically what goes down. So it's a really good story, this first thing, Palindrome. With the time stretcher, then you got these proto Daleks in it, as you have Daleks from different dimensions, Daleks at different state of development, and you see this world like crumble around you. It's pretty darn good. So the next story, honestly, that one Valiant story, if they want to make this set like knocked it out the park, they should have put this one Valiant story in here, because it just goes, Palindrome goes straight from the War Valiant. In fact, before I did this review, I went back and I listened to that episode so I could put it in context better. Because again, I didn't remember that because I was freaking mad at it. The next story is a little bit of a standalone story called Dreadsay by Lisa McMullen. So this one is the Daleks have vanished from reality at this point, and they all the Time Lords know is they were at war with someone, but they can't remember who, and they've amassed this like massive weapon range. They were the Rassilons. I can't remember what it's called. There's this massive amount of terrible weapons. Many of them are sentient. Many are these sentient weapons. So you have Julia Mackenzie's The 12th, who was really good in, I think, the second Time War box set. Julia Mackenzie's 12 is being imprisoned within this, put into stasis. She's one of these sentient weapons, and she's not very happy about it. And also in there is a Dreadshade, this thing that the more scared it gets, the more insane power it then releases. And so, so that's basically what's going on. Sorry, the Daleks are pretty much absent from this story. And it's like, it's basically the Doctor and Bliss trying to work out what happens. And they also got in the, the Time Lord General played by Ken Bones. I didn't really recognize him. His voice was hard to pick out. They do have lots of, this is what I like about the whole Big Finish Time War range in general. They do have characters that jump from one to another, and also from the Paul McGann box sets. So you got Rasmus is back. Rasmus was first seen in Doom Coalition, being a stooge, an unsuspecting stooge of Cardinal Pandak, I think, who turned out to be the big bad in it. And they've regenerated him, and he's now played by... Who's he played by now? Chris Jarman. And it's a good regeneration because you get retain the essence of Rasmus, and it's just a different interpretation. And that really works. He's a good character. I think we're going to be seeing him more. And the good thing about like these box sets is how you see them slot into place. In Doom Coalition, he was like an underling. He was pretty low down on the pegging. But by the Time War, he's like a general. Yeah, he has a whole history that's built up, and it's built up pretty well. And again, he's a good character that I like hearing, and I do like having these background characters recur over and over again because it just gives you a sense of continuity, which I think is very good. Which I think is exactly where we're going with this. I think it's exactly where we're going with this. So the final story is like a knockout, balls to the wall sci-fi adventure, restoration of the Daleks. The front cover you have like lots of like blowing up explosions and Daleks and Davros. This is it gives you get lots of time warring stuff. You have this massive onslaught of Dalek attack. You have Davros with some plan. You have the time strategist with some with his plan, and basically you see chess pieces being moved into place. I like that a lot. So by the end of it, Davros is pretty much ensconced in where we saw him at Journey's End. He's kind of a pet of the Daleks, right? So it slots in seamlessly. And then you have a weird I wouldn't say a cliffhanger, and I'm going to spoil it for you. If you don't want to hear it, don't listen to it. But I don't really think it's a spoiler because I think the next box set is, and I don't know which range it's going to. It might be in a whole new range. The next box set is going to definitely be dealing with this. He finds a stasis booth at the end, and he opens it up and says, "This person shouldn't be here." And it goes all the way back to 10 years ago. The story 10 years ago called was it An Earthly Child, which deals with Susan Foreman living in post Dalek invasion of the Earth, and she had a son with Campbell, whatever the guy she left the TARDIS for, so that actually made that whole plot point continued, and it ended very, very abruptly in the last of the Lucy Miller seasons, to the death, which is all freaking excellent. But essentially this character is killed by the Daleks, which causes a massive schism with Susan and the Eighth Doctor, which they start to heal. But that's essentially why she goes off, and she's recruited to the Time War in her Time War box set, Susan's War, which is excellent. That's one of the best releases of the year. It's a lot of very like French resistance, espionage stuff. So clearly, these two parts of the Time War are going to start converging. I think they're going to be bringing in the War Master. I think these things are all going to start overlapping and coming together. And they're doing a great job with it. So this one. It's a recommend. It's one of the better releases of the year. It delivers on the promise. Great performances. Great cast. Great scripts. It's a strong recommend. I'm recommending it more and more as I go over it. Yeah, I can't argue with this. This is all pretty darn good. So there you go. My recommendation for Doctor Who, 8th Doctor Time War, Volume 4. There. My name is Sheila Beck, and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.